This is the story of Mighty Pickle. Mighty Pickle by Ryan J. Morgan. Read to you by the author-illustrator. At the dining table, where we ate our food, sat my nephew PJ, a really great dude. But today he seemed in a rather bum mood. "Is something wrong?" I asked while leaning in. Then I noticed a tear roll off his chin. He looked down and said in his tiny way, "When did food become so awfully gray?" I sat back in my chair and said with a sigh, "It all started with the cage wrestler, Buff Guy." His strength was unmatched, along with his fame. Everywhere he went, they chanted his name. "Go, Buff Guy! Go, Buff Guy! Go!" they said. No one thought it might go to his head. "My goals are simple," he said in a pin. "The most important thing is that I win. And I will do anything to keep it that way, no matter what it takes, no matter what you say." So that night I followed him to figure his plan. His house, it turns out, was no house at all. Inside this place was as big as a mall. All over the room, from what I could see, there were machines stirring as big as me. What a swell and a tickle I felt in my throat. I saw bits of gray goo floating round in a moat. I ran past the goo as fast as a dart. That's when I saw it, a massive food chart. I started to read it and received quite a shock. The chart had strange words, like monosodium schmuck. I kept on reading, every last name. Genetically modified? Asperlame? What were they, I thought, as I saw some rats? Odd colorings, acids, and trans fats. Hydrogenated, fructose, acesulame K. Surely all these strange things would make food come out gray. That's when it came to me. I knew his strange plan. Buff Guy wanted to be the last healthy man. "You're right!" yelled a voice across the large room. Then a cage crashed around me with a kaboom! "How'd you escape?" PJ yelled like a singer. "Rescued," I said. "The cage thrown off with one finger." Who could have done such a feat of great power? Buff Guy, perhaps? His voice starting to cower. "No," I said, my heart feeling a tickle. "I was saved by the great Mighty Pickle." He came when we needed him to hinder Buff Guy, and was led to his trail when he heard my faint cry. "Help!" That's when he found me there, trapped like a mouse, in a factory disguised as a house. He flung off the cage and helped me get free. Then I fell with joy down onto my knee. It made a loud thump with a hollow boom that woke Buff Guy up from a nap in his room. He came out and saw us, but was kind of groggy. Then he snapped into shape and flung something soggy. Mighty struck out blindly. He swung really hard. Too bad Buff Guy dodged, and he missed by a yard. But Mighty still had a trick up his sleeve. Something amazing and hard to believe. He wiped off his face and got back on the ground, and let out a yell. What a monstrous sound! Yow! His voice was so loud it shook the whole place, made Buff Guy fall down right onto his face. It wasn't just loud, but his breath was quite sour. It made the walls crack and the building lost power. The place started to crumble, so I had to escape. Then the whole thing came down and squished them both like a grape. That's when it happened from that mound of rock. Mighty flew out with an explosive shock. He was good as new, not a scratch on his suit. Then he pulled Buff Guy out and captured that brute. And that's when he said it. The truth just popped. Things were in motion. They couldn't be stopped. The strange list of things and the moat of gray goo. They were all out there. There was nothing we could do. Buff Guy had beaten us. He knew the whole time. If we buy the products, it isn't his crime. The people now worried. What could they do? No one wanted to eat food full of goo. And then it hit me. Something to save our nation. It came to me in this simple declaration. We are the people, the ones with the power. It's up to us to make bad people cower. We can stop Buff Guy as long as we try. We just have to make sure to watch what we buy. After that day, Mighty couldn't be found. Buff Guy was gone. We didn't need him around. He wouldn't solve things we could solve for ourselves, like watching the stuff we allow on our shelves. That was it. PJ had made up his mind. From that day forward, good food he would find. He would also tell others to fight Buff Guy's crime by making good food choices one day at a time. The back cover of the book reads, "What has happened to our food? Much of it is full of harmful chemicals. Join PJ along his journey to eat healthy and reclaim our food." If you're interested in owning your own copy of the story Mighty Pickle, simply Google Mighty Pickle by Ryan Morgan and follow the link. Helping a young person understand the importance of making good, healthy food choices is one of the best things you can do. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the story of Mighty Pickle. I hope you enjoyed it.